There was, however, one night my parents went to the movies when they didn't take me along. It was a double feature of Melvin Van Peebles' Sweet Sweetback and Robert Altman's Brewster McCloud. They went with my mom's younger brother, Roger, who had just returned from Vietnam and was casually dating my babysitter, Robin, a nice young middle-class red-haired girl who lived down the street. The evening was not a success. Not only did they not like the two movies, my stepfather and uncle proceeded to bitch about them for days after. However, the Altman film was the lower half of the double bill. The film they paid to see was Sweet Sweetback. Now, the reason I didn't attend that screening was because since it was rated X by an all-white jury, I couldn't. I'm sure Kurt, Uncle Roger, and Robin didn't know what to make of Melvin Van Peebles' howling cry of black empowerment any more than they did Brewster McCloud. But while I'm sure they couldn't fathom why anyone would bother to make Altman's malarkey, the Van Peebles film was something. Something they didn't understand. Something they couldn't grasp, which made them mad. Something that wasn't for them. After it rejected them, they rejected it. But unlike Brewster McCloud, something they couldn't deny. The interesting part of my memory was the only reason they saw it was due to my mom. I doubt, other than her, any of them had ever heard of it. She hit them to it. Also, my mom never used a short version of the film's title, always referring to it by its full soul title, Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song. And while I remember the men coming home complaining about the movie for days, my mother didn't say much. She didn't defend the picture, but she also didn't join in on the diatribe. She remained, strangely for her, quiet on the subject. Less than a year later, she would leave Kurt and exclusively date black men for the next 3 years.
The French Connection.
Right.
Yeah, one of the things that I really like about Friedkin's technique in particular is his cinematic set pieces. You can get a sense of how to do a sequence like that yourself if you study his sequences. And when I say that, I'm not just talking about like the car chase in French Connection, but I also mean like the foot chases.
And by the way, talk about re-releases, okay? Release French Connection. Then there's a re-release of the French Connection. Then there's a double feature re-release of the French Connection, and Vanishing Point.
Yeah.
All right? Then there's another re-release of French Connection and the 7-Ups. And then there's another re-release of French Connection and Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. All right, they're all Fox movies. They're all Fox car chase movies.
Right.
But the thing is, by the time that the French Connection shows up on the ABC Sunday Night Movie, it's cut up so much, and this is before video, so you feel like, okay, it's lost.
Yeah.
Okay, now the movie's gone. Yeah, so they hung around a lot longer, but when they went to TV, it was as if they were gone for good.
Yeah.
You'll never be able to see, because it's before video, you'll never be able to see the French Connection the way it was when it came out. Well, actually, you would have be able to got French Connection because Magnetic Home Video was the first company out, and then they made a deal with Fox.
All the Fox
shit was the first shit that ever came out.
I have an interesting relationship with this movie. All right, because I think the first reel of the movie is the worst mixed reel in the history of Hollywood cinema.
Okay,
it's so badly. There's a level of incompetence to the mix that Hollywood never really goes below. Hollywood maybe doesn't reach its heights every single solitary time, but it doesn't reach the lows. There's a strong level of mediocrity that it never goes further down.
Okay.
All right. It's terrible. He's a fucking pothead who doesn't know any fucking better. He thinks it sounds good.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that Warren Beatty actually was kind of the co-director on that movie. I asked Warren Beatty about that once, and he goes, well, you don't think that pothead could have got that performance out of Julie Christie, do you? No,
that's fucking
probably couldn't. Well, say no more. And Warren Beatty's fantastic in it.
Yeah.
And it's obvious Warren Beatty's directing himself. He's not listening to Allman. All right. But here's the interesting thing about it. So I tried to watch the movie like twice on VHS, on the big green Warner box. And it's just like, it's so ugly. I just wasn't into it. The sound was just awful, and it transferred so terribly to VHS. I can't even tell you.
Yeah, I'm sure
it was a mess. And I was like, ugh, this movie's terrible. All right, and so I tried 2 different times to watch it. Fuck this movie. Then I noticed that there was an IP Technicolor print available, and it wasn't that expensive. And so I picked it up, and I bought it for Rick Linklater.
Oh, really?
Because he loves this movie. He was a big fan of it. So I thought I was just going to buy it for him and send it to him as a gift. Then I had the movie, and I go, well, I mean, if I'm going to give it another chance, now would be the time. All right? If an IB Technicolor 35 millimeter print, before I send it off to Rick, I should probably sit down and watch it from beginning to end. And then I really, really liked it.
Oh, nice.
On IB Technicolor, the print, the first 20-minute sound mix is still dreadful. It's abysmal. All right. But you get caught up in the movie and it envelops you, and Beatty envelops you, and Christie envelops you. And then the whole end, I think, is just kind of perfect.
I like Keith Carradine a lot too.
Well, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
that sequence in the middle is heartbreaking.
I never got that.
No, he never got it.
That's the catch.
I love it.
No, cut to I'm showing it.
He can come watch it.
It was like 15 years ago that I got.
Rick needs to come.
Does he know that story?
I don't even think he does.
Oh, wow.
It was just some Joseph looking for a manger.
What's your favorite film of Siegel's?
Dirty Harry. I think you can quibble about this one or that one, but I think Dirty Harry is so drastically his best film. I mean, it's just a really terrific audience picture. It's about as good as an audience picture can get.
Really works.
Yeah. I remember the reaction of the audience sitting in the theater in 1971 with the film, and I saw it like about 3 times. And I remember the audience just loved it. Yeah, you even said, he said, I think all my liberal friends are going to disown me.
Exactly. That's what he was afraid of.
You know, it was easy to lay it on the feet of this right-wing idea, which is where most of the liberal-leaning critics attacked it from. He takes the law into his own hands to see his own version of justice.
Right, exactly.
But that's almost like a Siegel trait. That's not just a Dirty Harry trait. That's a Siegel trait as far as his characters are concerned.
Well, do you, punk?
I think Andy Robinson actually gives the best performance in any Siegel movie. He was so good that he stalled his career. For 10 years, whenever he showed up in anything else, no, that's Scorpio. The performance was just so earth-shattering. It was just so, he was Scorpio whenever he showed up. It pretty much started, forget about the cop taking the law into his own hands or the renegade cop genre, which is the genre unto itself. It really started the serial killer film genre, which is like a huge genre that has been going ever since, and especially on television. But that genre really officially, the way we think of it now, started with Dirty Harry.
Wow.
And they even use a real-life serial killer as the jumping off point, because Scorpio is meant to evoke the Zodiac killer out of San Francisco. But one of the things about it, seeing it back then, you couldn't believe, just as an audience member, I'm talking about me as a little kid, but also just the adults around me, they couldn't believe the depravity of Scorpio. It seemed unbelievable just how fucked up this dude was. But as time has gone on, we've realized
it wasn't so wrong.
It was, he wasn't,
exaggerating.
It wasn't that exaggerated.
Yeah.
But it actually just tells us who we were then. We had an innocence when it came to that type of violence that we do not possess anymore. But we had then. So, in a strange way, the adults and I were sort of on the same page. But naughty giggles weren't the only thing I heard coming from the grown-up audiences. Gay characters were constantly laughed at. And yes, sometimes those characters were presented as comedic cannon fodder. Diamonds Are Forever and Vanishing Point. But not always. Sometimes it revealed a real ugliness in the audience. In 1971, the same year as Diamonds Are Forever and Vanishing Point, I sat in a movie theater watching Dirty Harry with my parents. On screen, Scorpio, Andy Robinson, the film's surrogate for the real-life Zodiac killer, stood on a rooftop in San Francisco holding a high-powered sniper rifle pointed down at the city park. In the scope sight of Scorpio's rifle was a gay black man wearing a flamboyant purple poncho. What's memorable about the tableau is the scene itself we see play out inside of Scorpio's rifle sight. Purple Poncho is on a date with a hippie-like cowboy type with a black mustache who looks a hell of a lot like Dennis Hopper's character from Easy Rider. In the movie, we get a pretty clear idea of what's going on. They don't appear to be a couple. The two men are definitely on a date. The cowboys just bought Purple Poncho a vanilla ice cream cone, and without any physical contact between them and played completely silently, we can tell the date is going pretty well. We can tell Purple Poncho is having a good time, and the Dennis Hopper-type cowboy is charmed by him. This silent scene might be one of the most non-judgmental depictions of gay male courtship ever presented in a Hollywood studio film up to that time. Yet, at the same time, we watched it all through the scope sight of Scorpio's rifle, with the crosshairs aimed directly at Purple Poncho. But, when I was a little boy, how did I know the fellow in the purple poncho was gay? Because at least 5 patrons laughingly said out loud, "Ha ha, it's a faggot!" including my stepfather, Kurt. And they laughed at his antics, even though their only view of him was through the rifle sight of a vicious killer, while Lalo Schifrin's eerie "Killer's Got a Victim in His Sights" music accompanied the visuals on the soundtrack. But I felt something else in that theater full of grown-ups. As opposed to the other victims in the film, I didn't really feel the audience of adults had a tremendous amount of concern for Purple Poncho. In fact, I'd say a few filmgoers were rooting for Scorpio to shoot him. In the Mad Magazine spoof Filthy Larry, when Larry spots Scorpio on the roof with a rifle aiming his gun at the homosexual, Larry arrests the homosexual. On the ride home, even if I didn't have questions, my parents would talk about the movie we had just seen. These are some of my fondest memories. After being exposed to all these images, did any of them disturb me? Of course some did, but that didn't mean I didn't like the movie. When they removed the naked dead girl out of the hole in Dirty Harry, it was totally disturbing, but I understood it. Scorpio's inhumanity was beyond the beyond. All the better for Harry to blast him with the most powerful handgun in the world.
I'm more on the side of electrifying audiences, frankly. The thing about it is, Don Siegel's he's been pretty expressive about it because he was asked about, especially about Dirty Harry, and he was really clear about really kind of not actually understanding the way people kept trying to politicize the movie he was trying to make. He felt it was being dragged into a political discussion that maybe Eastwood was a little bit more, had more skin in the game as far as that was concerned. But, you know, Don Siegel was like, no, it's a cop movie, and he's after the crazy killer, and he's going to get them. And, you know, I wasn't looking at it from a socio-political point of view. It was just a exciting cop picture that I thought we would make and audiences would like, and they did. So I don't quite get it. Now where I'm standing from, though, it's more about, look, I'm not in a situation where I'm going to come across some script and go and do it. I write my own material. So if there's political aspects to it in there, I fucking put them in there. All right. So, so I'm not going to be quite in the same situation of, oh, wow, this was a funny comedy, and not think about what the implications of the film are. So one, if I'm doing a script of a movie I wrote, well, no, I'm endorsing it. I'm endorsing this point of view.
Because storing dead niggers ain't my fucking business. That's why.
That's exactly what I'm doing. And now some people can not like that point of view. Some people can misread it, and that happens a lot. And people can write think pieces about what's wrong with the film because of this or that and the other. That doesn't make them right. at the same time, it doesn't make them wrong. All right, you know, they can be completely wrong as for where I'm coming from. I can think they're completely full of shit. But if they make their case, it doesn't matter what I was thinking on the day. The case is, can they make their case? Now, oftentimes, I don't think they make a good case. But if they did, well, okay, hats off to them. But that isn't what I was thinking.
How do you do, sir? Now that we all know one another.